Hello, friends. I know I haven't posted anything on my channel for a while. I relocated and uh, basically been busy. So what do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about how do you discover the right path for you? Meaning, how do you discover the right path in your life? And throughout my um, work, I talk about two paths in life. And depending on which one you choose, it can affect your life greatly. And many of us actually have multiple paths. Sometimes we hop on one path and it's not working, so we hop on another one and it's not working, and then we keep bouncing back and forth. So before I go into the two different paths that you can choose, I want to talk about first about surrendering, because you'll never know what's your purpose in life or what path is meant for you until you can learn to surrender. Meaning, sometimes you don't have to control every situation. Sometimes you don't have to plan every moment. Sometimes you have to let go and trust spirit. You got to trust the divine, that the universe will work everything out for you. That the universe or your guides or angels will guide you on the path that you're meant to be. And it's hard for us human beings because we're so busy. We like to, like I said, be in control of our lives. And sometimes you miss out on opportunities because you are over controlling, or you over analyze the situation, or you allow your fear and doubt to get the better of you, and you don't go on the path that you're meant to because you live in that fear, you live in that doubt, especially if the path that you're on is challenging. And so where I want to talk about is, so first, trust the divine. Let go. It's hard to do. Let go and just wake up and be like, today my life's in God's hands. My journey in this life is in God's hand. Or if you don't believe in God, you could say, I leave my journey in life to the universe. You gotta get tapped back into your divine self. We are magical beings and we're super powerful, but often we get so distracted by life. We get distracted by other people. We get distracted by our jobs. We get distracted by pursuing that money. And we forget to look within ourselves. We forget, how do you say it, to take a step back and reevaluate. That's really a crucial, important thing when you're trying to discover what path is meant for you, where you belong. Where does your soul, where does your human being, or you belong in this life? Take a step back and reevaluate. There's one of my friends showed me this story about two animals and how they deal with the storm. And that storm could represent that we all have storms in our lives. We all have rocky moments in our lives. And one of the animals is a buffalo, and the other animal is a cow. Well, when a storm starts coming, the cow runs away from it. It runs in the opposite direction. And the buffalo, how he deals with the storm is the buffalo run into the storm. They deal with that storm. They don't run from it. And basically the metaphor of the story is this, that the buffalo, even though there's fear, even though there's doubt that maybe that storm will wash you away in your life, so to speak, that buffalo faces it. No matter how scary it is, because eventually the buffalo runs right through the storm and it's calm. But that buffalo had to face that fear, deal with that situation. Whereas the cow runs away from it, runs away from it, runs away from that fear, runs away from that doubt, runs away from the situations in their lives because it's scary. And guess what? The storm hits them, and then they catch the full brunt of that storm. And we could utilize that. Do you want to be the cow in your life where you run away from every situation, every time it gets challenging? Maybe you're in that relationship and it's challenging, so you run from it. because it's triggering it. You don't want to deal with it, so you run away. And then guess what? You're left dealing with the whole storm by yourself. And the buffalo, even though that storm in your life is painful, you could choose to be the buffalo, and run towards the storm. Face your fears, because one of the things I've learned in life is when you run from things, you never get clarity. You never get what's the word? Compromise, or not compromise, but closure. You keep running from it, and as you keep running for it, that fear, that doubt gets stronger and stronger, and then it overtakes you, and then you're fearing everything. You're doubting everything. You're lost. But if you choose to take charge in your life and face the scary moments, face those challenging moments, have those tough conversations, it gets easier, and then you get through the storm quickly, and then you learn to heal, and you have a calmer day, a beautiful sunshiny day. So it's up to you. What do you choose? And I regard that, so I like that story because we all run from things. We got to stop running and face them. And when you start to begin to face things in your life, to deal with the difficult moments and actually follow through on them, it gets easier and easier. And then you learn to have self-confidence in yourself, where, hey, I dealt with that storm. I dealt with that particular tough situation in my life. I dealt with that difficult relationship, or whatever it may be in your life, and you dealt with it, and it gets easier and easier. And then you learn to be confident, and you learn to see how powerful you really are. Now that I ran on that tangent a little bit, I want to talk about the two paths. I talk about we choose our paths in lives, and some of us don't know what path is meant for us. Well, I'll break it down to this. It's simple. The path that you're meant to be on is the path of least resistance. The path that you're meant to be on is joyful, abundant, prosperous. On that path, you feel at home. It's like easy. Now, the path that you're not meant to be on is where every day, every other week, it's challenging. Some of us, we have a job. Some of us pick careers that we're not happy with. And if you keep going day after day, maybe you're doing things that you're not happy with, trying to get money. Well, when you're unhappy with yourself, when your soul is screaming at you, hey, there's something wrong here, you got to listen to it, because what it's saying is the path you're on is not meant for you. Some of us do stupid things to gain money. And it's a sad thing, because they fear that they're in lack, so they have to do things to get money. And one of the biggest lessons I learned is that, and I had to teach myself this, because when I was young, I chased money. And I had to learn that, hey, I'd rather live without money and have a happy life, happy family, happy friends, happy relationships, than have to chase money and do things that goes against my soul. Because some of us do things that goes against our soul's truth, and then that's when you're on that path, and that's where all the chaos, that's all the turmoil. You're on a bad path in life, is like, especially if you're in relationships, when your relationships are not working out for you, when people are abandoning you, when people are using you, when people are manipulating you, when you hang out with people or environments, and you're not necessarily fulfilled. That's an important one. That when you're on the right path, you feel fulfilled. You're with that person, like, if you're like relationship wise, like so I'll just tell you a story. I knew a person, and she was an amazing human being, and let's just face it, she had a chaotic life, or not chaotic, but had some struggling, tough moments. And then she met somebody, and that person helped her show her what a good path is in life, what a good partner is in life. And that person started to thrive. started to have a good routine, started not having to worry about money, not having to worry about a roof over her head. You know, in my opinion, that person was happy. Obviously, there's things that came up that were challenging the relationship but that's what, you know, sometimes on the path that you're on, it's also challenging because it's how you grow. It's how you develop and become better and better. And this person was thriving, started to thrive, started, you know, having gas in her car, started having food in her belly, you know, started having somebody that truly cared for her and was there for her and supported her and helped her grow and helped her with taking responsibility in her life and uh, prospering. But what happened is that person chose, hey, I like this path. It's a great path for me, but started getting pulled on her old path. You know, other people came out of the woodwork, pulled her on that old path. Or even herself, she didn't want to give up that old path. So she chose the other path. And last I checked on that person was going down a rocky road, a dark road in her life. And it's sad because sometimes you got to let people make those choices. You can't help them. You know, you could guide them, you could give them advice, but if they're ultimately not listening to their inner voice within and choosing a different path, then you got to let them learn those hard lessons or a life of hard knocks by themselves. As much as you care and love for them, you got to let them, you know, discover their own soul's truth. And that's where, you know, and that person, for example, for what I don't know, you know that well, but that person had a struggling path, you know, had challenges, wasn't happy with herself, wasn't productive, wasn't responsible. And all that progress that person made was gone in an instant. Now, you know, and all you can do is hope and pray for that person and hope that they make the right decision, you know, because you got to analyze. Like for me, I'll use a story on my life. When I was younger, I decided to go to college and I gave up smoking herb. I gave up drinking. I started learning to spend my money wisely. And I went to college. And went to college and woke up every day determined to focus on my college. And I got a 4.0. And I was doing good. I never missed a day of class. You know, and I was doing good in life. I had abundance. My rent was paid every month and I had food in my belly. But then I chose to start dipping my toes on another path. You know, I met somebody and that person pulled me into toxic situations, pulled me into smoking herb again, drinking again, and pulled me on a different path. And guess what happened? I started to lose everything that I built. I didn't do good in school. I failed a class. I started not having money. Wasn't able to pay my rent. And that's the choices that you make and what path you choose. Because let's face it, sometimes we are on our highest path, the path that is meant for us, and others come along and unknowingly they pull you on a different path. And how to steer clear of that is listen to your soul, listen to your heart. This right here, your heart, is one of the most powerful organs in your body. It's not even just a physical, there's a spiritual aspect to it. And if you listen to your heart, you know, it kind of guides you. It's like your heart, listen to your heart and your intuition, your inner knowing. Because a lot of us, we know, you know, your soul's screaming at you and it's just screaming at you, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be with this person. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing this behavior. But yet you ignore it. You suppress it because you don't want to deal with it. And you have to be like that buffalo and deal with what your soul, you know, instead of running away like the cow, you have to be like the buffalo and face what your soul's truth is telling you. Because some of us, we don't want to face that emotional hurt, that emotional trauma, because our inner voice tells us things that we don't want to hear because it's painful. And that pain, that emotion that it stirs up in you, you don't want to deal with it, so you run. You're that cow. You run away from the storm. And then guess what? You keep getting battered by storm after storm after storm. So you have to face what your inner voice is telling you. You have to sit down with yourself and be like, obviously, I'm not happy on this path that I'm on. Obviously, I don't feel content. That's how you know, guys, if you're on the wrong path. What that you a lot of times people on the wrong path, basically, how do I break it down in this modern world, is they're in lack. They're not very happy. They don't feel content. Uh, they worry. They doubt. They're in fear. It's a constant battle day after day because nothing goes their way. So every day they have to battle and battle and battle. Even the people they're around, they may gossip or talk crap about you behind your back. They might try to manipulate you or use you. And especially if you're a kind, caring person and you don't realize it, the people you're allowing into your life is taking advantage of you. That they don't really care about your genuine health and happiness. They just want you to do a certain behavior or do this or hang out with them for their own personal gain. Then you have to be aware of that. People who are on the wrong path don't have a good, solid roof over their head. They don't have a solid job. They may even be strains with their family or their friendships, because some friends and family, they tell you, hey, they love you enough to tell you, hey, the path that you're on is not right for you. Hey, we love you and care for you. Hey, but we want you to be on this path. And it's not coming out of a place to control your life. They just generally love and care for you. So they're trying to be like, hey, wake up. And some people, when they're lost on that path, they don't want to listen. They're like, oh, I'm already on this path, so I might as well dive in even deeper. Dive deeper into that darkness or abyss. And then they lose themselves. And then they get so deep into their darkness that they don't know how to get out. Well, here's how you get out. Ask yourself. Sit down with yourself and evaluate. You got to sit down and listen to that painful inner voice telling you, hey, this is wrong. This is why you're sad. This is why you're angry. This person's wrong for you. This situation or this job is wrong for you. You got to sit down with yourself, inner reflect. Inner reflection, my friends, no matter how painful it is. And then reflect on the times in your lives when you were successful, when you were happy, when you were content. When you were thriving the most is usually the right path for you, what you were meant to be on. When you were thriving the most. So analyze with yourself. When in my life was I thriving? What behaviors were I not doing? What people was I not hanging out with? Or what people were I hanging out with? What situations did I put myself in? What situations I chose not to put myself in? You got to inner reflect. Put them on the scales and weigh. Sometimes if you're on the wrong path, it's because you're making choices and decisions that are out of balance or out of alignment with your soul's truth or your higher self. And when you find the right path, when you know you're on the right path, is one, wherever you're at, you feel at home. You feel content. You may even feel happy. Your soul is filled up. You feel loved. You have abundance. You have a full belly. You have a roof over your head. You have a job that you're happy with. You're surrounded by friends that you're happy with. You're surrounded with that lover that just makes you feel safe and complete. Obviously we're going to have challenges, especially in relationships. That happens to all of us. But what do you choose? You know the right lover or relationship for you. But in order to gain that awesome path in life, you have to let go of the old path. You may have to let go of friends that you knew for 6, 7, 8 years or half your life. Or you might have to let go of lovers that you know they're toxic for you, that are not really there for you, that they breadcrumb you all the time, and you take it as, oh, here's a breadcrumb, but you turn that breadcrumb into a whole loaf of bread. You have to let go of the old to gain the new. And maybe you had that great path in life, and maybe you because you were unaware or unawakened, you burnt every bridge on that path. You damaged it. You set fire to it. And you jumped back to the old path. Well, the thing is, you can take responsibility and say you're sorry and acknowledge the things that you did. Because some of us don't want to realize the mistakes that we make, the people that we hurt, the hearts that we break. You know, we may have said things to people out of anger that we didn't really mean. And to rebuild bridges or to start the new path, you have to take responsibility for your actions and deeds and try to begin anew. And no path in life is going to be easy, but you gotta, when your soul is content, when you're happy, when you're no longer having to fight every day to fight this world, that's when you know you're on the right path. Because when you're on the right path, everything aligns perfectly for you. You may see synchronicities, you may see repeating numbers. You know, sometimes when you're on the right alignment with yourself, when you're listening to your soul's truth, the universe or God or spirit brings the right person to you. Your wish fulfillment. Because some of us, we ask for a perfect partner, and the universe listens to us and sends us the right person, our divine counterpart, or our twin flame or soulmate, our true lover, the one that we're supposed to grow old with. But if you're not awake and aware, and you're still holding on to the path that you're not supposed to be on, because something in it's addictive, or your heartstrings are still pulled to a certain lover, or maybe it's for wealth reasons where you're pulled because a certain person can provide for you financially. You have to let go of the old to gain the new. Why settle for mediocre on this? Like, your old path is mediocre. Why settle for mediocre friends or people that are not there for you, or jobs that make you unhappy, or a lifestyle that makes you unhappy? Like, maybe there's moments in it that makes you happy, but then you sit for 2 days and you're just miserable. You're sad, you're depressed. Whereas you have to let go of why. I come across so many people that are stuck in their past because they don't want to let it go. You have to let go of that past. You have to let go of those people that, that are holding you back in life. It's like an anchor around your feet, and you're not going to blossom. You're just going to slowly drown over here. But when you step into your power, when you say, hey, I had enough. I'm tired of living in lack. I'm tired of letting people use and manipulate me. I'm tired of having to fight the world all the time. I'm tired of toxic lovers or people that use and manipulate me, or I'm tired of jobs that I don't feel fulfilled at. I'm tired of chasing money in the wrong ways. Then when you learn to let go of that, and you reflect on yourself, and you're like, hey, I am powerful. Learn to be confident in yourself. Know how powerful you are, and you're one decision and one action from changing your life for the better. You could literally overnight be like, hey, I'm done with this old life. I'm done with my old self. And I choose to be my best version of myself, and I'm going to jump on this new path. I choose to listen to my soul. I choose to follow my heart. There's some people are like, my heart's closed off. I don't feel love. That's baloney. Because you know when you love somebody. You know when you're drawn to somebody, or you know when you're drawn to the right situation or the right path. And me, guys, on my journey, when I was younger, I bounced from path to path because I didn't know. I was lost. And I struggled a lot and had a lot of challenges. I had a lot of heartbreaks. I had a lot of lack and limitation. A lot of battling. Battling my inner self, battling this world, so to speak, because this world's hard. It's a struggle. But when you find the right path, it doesn't become as much as a struggle. When you find the right partner, it doesn't become much of a struggle because you guys fight the world together. That's when you know you got an amazing human being in your life. So when their battles become your battle, and vice versa. You want to find that person in life that fights for you. And, that buffalo who storms ahead through the storm and says, no matter how rocky it gets, how stormy it gets, I'm gonna be by your side. You don't want the person who's the cow who runs away from you. The one who's, hey, I love you, but it's too scary. It's too tough. You're too challenging. I'm gonna go run away. You don't want that. You want that person that when you wake up in the morning, they're your ride or die. And when you find the right person in the right path, life gets easier. And I don't want to make this video too long, so basically sum it up as reflection. Analyze, what path are you on? You may be on a good path right now, and maybe you decide, hey, this is the right path for me. Also, when in life, when you're choosing your path, it's also learning to get help, asking for help. Maybe you need to go see a therapist or a life coach. Then go do that. Get the help that you need. Maybe you need to reach out to family and say, hey, I've been a big butthead and I messed up. I'm sorry. I need your help. I want to become a better version of myself. You have to, guys, I had to face so much going through this journey myself, and I had to go ask for help. And I had to literally say, hey, I messed up. I made bad decisions. I need help. How can I help myself? And then the universe brings you your helpers. Maybe you watching this is the way the universe is telling you, hey, this is a mentor for you. I help people all the time, and some people don't listen, and then they choose the other path, and it's sad to see. But then I see people who blossom. I see people and met people who have changed their lives overnight and are super successful and super happy because they chose to be the buffalo and run into the storm and heal themselves and fight for their life and choose what's meant for them. And they learn to cut out all the toxicity or the anything that wasn't aligning with their soul's truth. So inner reflection, guys, face that storm, be that buffalo, run into that storm. I know it's scary. It's super scary, but run into the storm. It gets easier. And then trust the universe. Let go of the reins. Stop worrying about, hey, tomorrow I'm not going to have no money. Stop chasing that money. Money's useless because money is a form of energy, and you get money basically by how you decide to put your energy into it. How I got abundance is I started chasing money in a healthy way. I started treating money healthily. And I realized it wasn't the win all catch all. I'd rather grow old with a person in a one-room cabin and grow up around trees and have dogs and cats and animals and just be content with that way than have millions and millions of dollars in my bank account somewhere. And when you learn to step into the right path, money comes to you. It just literally, that's when I started walking my highest truth, listening to my soul, and surrounding myself in the right environments and right people. And then money started to become not an issue for me. And lastly, guys, let go. Let go of that past. Let go of that toxic lover or toxic relationships, because some of us might have multiple people that you're pursuing, and they may not be the right people for you, or they may be, who knows. But your soul tells you when you're with somebody and then you leave, and then the next day you're sad and depressed and you just feel hurt, or something in your soul is off, you're in anxiety and depression, it's because your soul is telling you, hey, this person's not meant for you. But when you're with somebody and you don't have anxiety, you don't have fear, you just feel at home, you feel content, you know you're loved for, you know you're cared for, that's the person that you should be with. Stop chasing lust. I come across many men who like to chase after women, or even women who chase after other women, and they're choosing lust all the time. And guess what? They come to me, or those people I've come across in my life, and their hearts are always broken. They don't ever have good relationships because they're chasing that lust. They're chasing that person who only wants to be with you because they want your body. No, choose the person. If you choose love, if you choose the person who wants you, not for your body, but for your heart, for your soul, that is the path you should be on. And it's rare to come across somebody that doesn't want to use you or manipulate you. Someone who just generally just cares about you, wants you, and just they're happy because you're happy. They're filled with love because you're filled with love. Their life is going great because your life is going great. Because that kind of love, that kind of person sometimes only comes across in your life once in a lifetime. And sorry about the sirens in the background. It's probably universe. That's a synchronicity right there saying, hey, pay attention to what I just said, if that resonates with you. All right, guys. I'm going to let it go here. I wish you guys the best. You're one decision, one thought away from changing your life. Run into the storm. Be the buffalo. Trust the universe. Trust your intuition. Trust your inner knowing. No matter how scary it is. Because there's always sunshine at the end of the day. And become the best version of yourself. Choose the right path. I've started, I had to let go a lot. I had to let go of my past. I had to let go of past lovers. And I chose the path. And I'm like, I'm on my right path. And if someone doesn't want to, before I leave this, my intuition is telling me to speak on this. Sometimes you stunt your growth. Sometimes you stunt your growth when you wait for someone else to follow you on your path. I will not wait for anybody. You either choose, hey, I'm coming along for the ride and we're going to walk this road together, or I'm going to do it by myself. Because so many people are doing so good in their lives, and then they stop and allow, because they're like, maybe I still love this person and care for them, and you wait, you stunt your own growth, your own evolution when you wait for somebody else along the side of the road. And let's face it, some of those people that you stop your own growth for are not meant for you. Because if they were, they would be on the road with you, helping you grow and evolve. But if anyone's not helping you evolve, not helping you grow, not giving you the true love and care that you need, then obviously they're on a different path than you. You have to learn the hardest thing to do. Let them go on their own path, and you continue to truck along on your path. Listen to your inner voice. Listen to your soul. Stop fighting it. Stop being fearful of it. Begin the inner healing. And choose the right path. Because when you're on the right path, when you're with the right person, everything aligns. Everything falls into place. Thank you, guys. I wish you the best. This world is not easy. Not at all. I struggle every day sometimes. Some days they're easy days, and sometimes I still struggle. But it gets easier when you're on the right path. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys are interested in my stuff, I'm on TikTok and Instagram at Aslan Speaks. I wish you guys the best. Guys, you're powerful. Stop being we self-sabotage ourselves all the time. Stop self-sabotaging. Learn to embrace your inner power, your inner light, and know that you're worthy. I come across some people who look at me and are like, man, you're so amazing, and I don't feel like I'm worthy. Some people come in my life and they don't even feel like they're worthy of having me in their life. Get that thought out of your head. That's negativity. Know that you are worthy, that you're a beautiful soul. You got a beautiful heart. And know that whatever I can accomplish, anybody else can accomplish. Key is finding the right path and mastering your mind, body, and mind, thoughts, and emotions. And choosing right people, right places, or right environments. Love you guys.